With the latest Ashes of Creation development update release and many hungry MMO fans getting excited for the future of this game, I decided that today I want to talk about the news that has gotten everyone hyped up and why this might be the greatest update we have gotten to this day. For those of you that are new and never heard of this game, here's a short description. Ashes of Creation is an upcoming Western sandpark MMORPG that has a strong mix of both PvP and PvE content, that also features an ever-changing world driven by player actions. As you have probably guessed by now, today we are talking about climate, environments, and dynamic weather. And before you call this boring and prepare to leave the video, you should know this. The weather system in Ashes of Creation might be the first of its kind, and it's not here only for aesthetics. Abilities and also professions may be enhanced or hindered during certain climates and seasonal weather events. Weather conditions also affect gatherables, vehicles, mounts, ships, resistances, targeting, and boss mechanics. Access to dungeons and raids may also be hindered or blocked by changes in climate. So it is clear to see that the weather system will also influence your actual day-to-day gameplay. Let's dive deep into how the weather system works in Ashes of Creation. There will be approximately 18 biomes or environments in Ashes, as the developers aim for diversity and contrast over the world of Vera. Biomes are basically the type of zones you will encounter in the game, and while we don't have a complete list of their names, plenty of them have already been revealed. For example, the corrupted areas, floodplains, forest, riverlands, Sahara, snowy mountains, tropics, underrealm, and the volcano area. Some of the biomes have fixed climates, while others are variable, which is really important. Let's talk about this variability. As we all know, immersion is a big factor when it comes to a successful MMORPG. In this regard, dynamic seasons and weather will play a huge role in immersing players, and interestingly enough, it doesn't stop there. When it comes to biomes, this permanent state of change can end up influencing other in-game systems, like the economy and even player skill interactions. Let me give you some examples, starting with the impact on the economy. Seasons affect crops and other herbology resources available for gathering or planting, including how crop rotation is managed. When seasons change, a particular area will no longer be able to produce certain crops for a prolonged period of time. This, in turn, makes the transit system more relevant, because now you might need to bring crops from other places that are able to grow them. Now though, the prices might also go up because of supply and demand, and because of the additional risks that come with the transit system. Caravans can always be attacked, and certain in-game routes can also be affected, as different seasons may affect access to various roads. For example, you might have a mountain pass that can be blocked off during the winter, so the caravan's trade routes on land change out of necessity. As a bonus piece of information, water can also turn into ice during the winter, enabling players to walk over the water, but blocking access to what is underneath. Back to gatherables though. Now we know that seasons affect the rotation of crops in the world. But what about other resources? Seasons may not directly affect certain gatherables, such as veins of ore, but access to those resources may be blocked during certain weather conditions. It won't likely affect too much on certain resource spectrums like veins of ore. Those might not be affected by the seasons or weather systems, but there might be blockages to cave networks that house those types of ore veins. The developers have stated that the intention with Ashes is for a symbiotic relation to be formed between art and design, so that players are indicated in a very immersive way what they need to do in their day-to-day activities. For example, one day you might need to go harvest your crops on your freehold, because the seasons are changing, or because a weather event is coming soon, like a storm. You might also need to plan ahead when it comes to hunting and PvPing too, as weather can influence the way your abilities work. Which brings me to another interesting point, player skills being affected by the weather system. Certain abilities and also professions such as farming may be enhanced or hindered during certain climates and seasonal weather events. Here are a few known scenarios given to us by the developers. Let's say you're using a frostbolt in a winter climate. There's the ability for those effects to be enhanced and/or stronger in those climates. The AoE radius might grow for a fire effect if you're in the middle of summer, or it might shrink if you're in the middle of a storm. Elements may have more influence in certain seasons and climates. For example, frost abilities may be stronger in winter. This affects both PvE and PvP. Let's talk a bit about biomes too. Some biomes will have seasons that are less or more temperate. For example, northern, southern, and tropical regions. Other biomes will have fixed climates. What you are seeing right now in the background is the Riverlands biome. The Riverlands biome is going to be the largest area in Alpha 2, and it represents the ancestral home of the Ayla humans and the present-day home of the KLR. The Riverlands is very traditional when it comes to dynamic weather and the 4 seasons changing, so you can expect harsh snowy weather and lush green landscapes transitioning from one another. What about the timing of all these things? Well, we have some info regarding that as well. In Ashes of Creation, the world will change on a regular basis. Zones will progress through seasons, which will alter the very nature of the environment around you. Each season lasts about 2 weeks of real-world time by default. Part of the triggers that can create seasonal change are not just time-related. They can also be indicated by special events that occur on the server, such as raid bosses that are forming or a relic being acquired and activated by a node that changes winter into spring. As you can see, the weather system is an amazing system that is interconnected with many other things in Ashes of Creation, so you should carefully consider it in your day-to-day gameplay. And that's all for today, guys. Consider dropping a like and maybe subscribing to the channel for more content like this. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.